What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Almost Ideas podcast, where we almost come up with some pretty darn good ideas. My name is Danon Biggs, and I am joined by my co-host, Neil Johnson.
Hi, I'm Neil Johnson.
Aren't you just?
I'm the one.
That's not true. There's another Neil Johnson out there that comes up when you Google
It's true, and it's not me. I'm not.
Isn't it like an African-American
like
singer
preacher
or
something?
Preacher? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, there are, but
He's much more famous than me, and
I can-
rightly so.
I can say there's no other Danon Biggses, though. It is my sole purpose in life to hold and ruin that name and drag it through the mud.
I'm so happy for
So
you.
you though, you have it
The
kind of
ni-
safe, but maybe not.
The nice
quite
thing
as good.
about me, or maybe the bad thing about me, is if I do get it to a point where it is in the mud, I could just change my name to EIL, and then it's somebody else.
Yeah.
It could be any other deal.
That's
I got that to
true.
fall back on.
You got that, yeah. Anyway, you guys, this is our first episode, and the point of this show is to talk about ideas and creative juices, get them flowing, and hopefully you, the viewer or listener, gets to
Collect those juices into a vial or something,
into a vial or a pitcher,
maybe,
a
or a
full-
flask. If you're into that, if you want to be a little sneaky with it.
maybe like a 2-gallon milk jug that's now empty that
Mhm,
you've
just
rinsed
dumped
out,
out.
of course.
Yeah.
Because you don't want rotten milk mixed
Make sure
in
there's
with
no
these
holes in
juices.
the bottom.
But it depends on how much juices we're going to be giving you today, because
Right.
this might be a 2-gallon night. It might be a little vial night. We'll find out.
And it might be a mix of some different juices. Be ready for that.
What juices are we going to expect here?
There's a lot of different creativity, who's to say?
Today, though, to get us started, we're actually going to be talking about a movie that just came out.
Very
that-
popular.
Very popular, that everybody and their mother has seen. But we were really interested in seeing it because people were hating on it before it even came out, and we wanted to give it a fair shake, right? So,
We've had our share of being hated on, and we wanted to dish it out.
so Neil, tell us about this movie that we saw.
We watched Snow White and
It-
the 7 fake dwarfs.
Wait. I actually don't remember.
What's it called? Is it called Snow
Is
White?
it called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? It's definitely called Snow White, but I think they took the Seven Dwarfs out of it.
It's just
Yeah.
called Snow White.
Oh, they took the Seven Dwarves out of it.
And that's the crux of it, isn't it?
This is kind of like a big part of the story. Okay. So what we're gonna do, for those of you who are like super like wanting to watch Snow White and don't want it to be spoiled for you, we're gonna do a non-spoiler section and then a spoiler section. For you avid Snow White fans, not Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs fans, of course, because they're.
We should watch that next, though, in the review.
That would be. I think we'd probably watch it and go, "This isn't that good."
Still have the same
Have you
notes.
seen the old?
I haven't. You have recently. though.
Yeah, it's if you appreciate the work that's gone into it and like the
Mhm.
history and everything and everything that was of the time and stuff, it's very impressive.
Right.
But you really, really have to work hard to put yourself 100 years ago.
You have to forgive a little bit.
You have to forgive and you have to forget a lot of stuff that's happened since. But it's impressive. It's kind of a snooze fest.
Okay.
And this,
I
as
mean, I
we'll,
was falling asleep.
as
a
we'll
little
discuss,
towards the end,
this was kind of a snooze fest too.
Unfortunately,
What did you think of it though? Like good, bad?
not my favorite, but it wasn't the worst Disney movie I've seen in the last couple of years.
No, like it wasn't even the worst Disney remake.
No,
No, like it was.
this is pretty fun.
Honestly, I will say I liked that it took some swings. It actually like they made it a point. They were like, okay, here's the story. This is this really cool old, kind of boring story. Let's make it like a real 2-hour movie. Let's make let's expand on stuff. Let's dive deeper into things. And I appreciate that they did that. I wish they would do that with the other Disney remakes more.
They could have filled it with better stuff.
But they could have filled it with better stuff.
I feel like if it was just the dwarves, I was fine with them. Like if they're by themselves in their own movie, I'd be all over that.
But they added another 7 dwarves sort of thing. They weren't dwarves, one of them was, but they added 7 other side characters,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like, wait a minute, are we doing the dwarves thing or are we doing a real thing? And this was my big issue with it, was it kind of starts out as this like kind of more realistic like movie,
Uh-huh.
like we see a bit more into Snow White's backstory. We see a little bit of why she has that horrible haircut, which I actually was like, oh, I like that explanation. Great.
I think
we'll tell
missed
you that.
that.
We'll tell you that in spoilers. I would hate to spoil the Lord Farquaad haircut now.
I think I missed that.
It actually makes sense. I'm like, oh, that's why her hair looks terrible. Great. Okay. The story of Snow White happens and everything's like, okay, this is kind of interesting. I'm not hating this.
Mm-hmm.
And I even told Neil, I leaned over because we saw this movie together because we're best friends.
We shared a popcorn bucket.
We shared a popcorn bucket and Neil let me use one of his loyalty cups for my root beer.
It's true. I was going to get 2 for myself, but I decided it'd be nice because he bought my ticket.
I should say, I should specify, we did not share a single cup.
No, there was 2. There's
cups.
2 individual cups.
You
that
had
I was,
one.
but then I
had one. Granted, we did like swap the entire time. It was like, hey, do you want some of mine? And you were like, yeah. And then you were some of mine.
Mine was a little bit flatter than yours.
Yours was a little flatter. Mine had a bit more backwash.
It's fine though. It's what friends do.
And if you don't do that with your friends, can you really call yourself friends? Can you really say that you've been best friends of 19 years, by the way? By the way. Sorry. Anyway, Snow White.
That hurts.
I leaned over to Neil and I was like, you know what? I'm not hating this. And then I was like, I'm gonna reserve my judgment though until the dwarves show up.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll just say, if you like the Polar Express, you will love this movie when the dwarves show up.
That's a bit of an uncanny valley.
It was very strange. And when in the scenes, and from a visual effects standpoint, when they're in the room with Snow White, when they're in the same scene, when they're interacting, it actually looks pretty good.
They're lit pretty good.
Yeah.
They fit in a bit better. When it's just them and their cave mining and like we don't know where the source light's coming from, it's so weird.
It was very, very odd, but it looked so realistic still. But it just looked, it was uncanny. Like,
it was realistic with unrealistic lighting, is what it seemed like. It was hyper realistic textures, and then the lighting was just weird.
It was very weird. And they would do things like in the original Snow White. There's a scene where Dopey falls into a pile of diamonds or whatever, and he stands up, and there's 2 diamonds covering his eyes.
Yeah,
very cartoony moment. But they do that in this too, which I don't mind an homage. But it was just like, now we're in a cave and we have all these diamonds, and there's like so many diamonds and every color of diamond, and it's all CGI rendered very well but lit very strangely. And then you get like Dopey with just like this realistic strange proportioned person with diamonds over his eyes, and like it's a cartoon. And I was kind of just like, I don't know if this is a movie or a cartoon anymore. And
yeah, it was the weird.
And the rest of the movie
on right there.
Yeah, and the rest of the movie just was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it didn't really seem to own up to the like whimsical side of things, but it didn't really stick to the like serious side of things either. And also, they should have just cast real dwarves in the role. Like Peter Dinklage was probably the most famous dwarf actor out there. Was like, what are we doing? The word dwarf is in the name. Like there's 7 main characters. Like it's so hard for these people to get acting jobs. And then when it's like, oh,
the remake,
the movie that is for you guys, we're going to CGI all of them.
Yeah.
So, and they even have a real like dwarf in this.
But getting into the actual story.
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, I was bored through most of it.
Yeah, you kept falling asleep.
I kept nodding off a little bit.
Yeah.
I had to wake myself up a couple of times.
Yeah, no, I mean it follows the same story more or less. It adds a bit more, and this is in the trailer, but it talks a little bit more about like in the original movie, Snow White just tries to get away from the queen, and the queen ends up dying on accident, at some point. In this, it's like, okay, we got away from the queen, everything's good, but we need to go get her like out of power. Like she's a bad person, we need to take her out. And so there's that element that I thought was kind of fun. But yeah, and then the love story that was in this, because Snow White is very it's a very important part of the story, but it's also a very small part of the story in the original.
I mean, he's still pretty sparse in there.
He wasn't super in it, and there was no connection. There was no chemistry. And then
I didn't feel any chemistry at all between the two.
They didn't feel any chemistry. And then they sing a song about, oh, actually, I guess we're in love. And then they were in love for the rest of the movie. And that was kind of...
But it was only after, like, he saved her life at one point.
Yeah, sort of.
And
yeah.
she's like, oh, wait. I love you.
Actually, I love you. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, all the other the replacement dwarves were like, I see the way you two are, and I'm like, yeah, Ice did too, and they look like they hate each other, and they're kind of annoying. And he's like, look at you two, and she's like, what? Stop. And it's like, no,
There's nothing
not really,
talking about.
not really. But he's a handsome man, she's a pretty girl, so I guess that's all chemistry is nowadays. What do you think of the humor?
There was humor.
'Cause there was humor, yeah.
Uh,
Did you get any of it?
No,
I liked.
There may have been slapstick humor.
There was a good amount of slapstick humor, especially with the dwarves.
The
But
dwarves.
there was like the bit where Doc was trying to save the guy.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay.
Dude, when was this?
Okay. Let's get into spoilers.
Okay.
So everything gets a 5-star rating, but what is it out of? I would say it's 5 stars out of 7 dwarves.
You'd give it that much?
No, you're right. It's 5 stars out of 7 dwarves plus the additional 7 dwarves. So it's 5 stars out of 14 dwarves.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I would say it's definitely 5 stars of a kingdom of stars.
Pretty bad.
A lot of stars.
Yeah.
That kingdom.
No, it's it's fine. It's okay. Anyway, we're gonna spoil the
I
heck
don't
out
want to
of
watch
this
it
now.
again.
I'm not gonna watch this again. No, I'm not gonna. I don't.
Don't
no.
show your kids.
I'm not
Don't
gonna
make
show
me
my
wanna watch it
kids.
again.
Yeah. Okay. So the funny bit that I was saying was the handsome boy
Mm.
who hates Snow White the whole time.
Right.
Somebody's about to shoot her with a crossbow.
Right.
He sees that. He pushes her out of the way, and it
Yeah.
hits him in the fatal shoulder.
Right. Right.
Anyway, the very next scene, they take him to Doc, the dwarf
Oh,
from the original, and he's like, "Well, I'm a doctor of like geology and stuff. I can't do this." And they're like, "Well, you're our only hope." And he's like, "Okay, let's do it." And then it cuts them waiting outside, and they're all nervous. And he comes out, and he's all holding his hat, and he's tearing up. He's like, I tried, I really," and everybody, and it's very solemn. And then the guy steps behind Doc, and everybody cheers and stuff. And Doc turns around.
He's like,
And he
I
goes,
thought he was
"Oh, I actually thought he was dead."
That's right. That's right.
And I thought, like, okay,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
that was pretty funny, and I appreciated that. That was good. There were a bunch of new songs. We didn't talk about
I
this.
didn't like any of the new songs.
What about the there was the first one where it's just
I don't.
hey, we're
I
in
don't
the
know which
kingdom.
songs were original or not either.
All of them were original except for they sing the High Hope song.
Yeah.
And then they sing
I know that one.
the Whistle While You Work
Mhm.
song. Yeah, they have like an initial like grand like we're in a perfect kingdom and we have a
Mhm.
mom and dad and everything's all good.
And
You
this is
know.
how you want everyone to raise you to be brave.
Yeah,
and
you're
honest, and
gonna be the best.
these are
And
your values.
then surprise, they die. And then she sings her I Want song.
What was the hair?
Oh yeah,
I
so
forgot about the hair. I guess.
when the evil queen marries her dad, and then her dad goes away, the evil queen cuts it, presumably because it was too beautiful to make her not as beautiful.
Okay.
And as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay. That was a point for me where I was like,
Good.
this might be kind of good. There was Gal Gadot has a song, has 2 songs,
Mhm.
doesn't she?
She sure does.
Do you think that was really her singing?
I think it was because it wasn't amazing, right? Like if it wasn't her, it'd be somebody.
They would have gotten
Would have something
a good
really
singer.
right?
It was just auto-tuned like crazy,
Yeah.
probably.
They
Well-
did like the Dwayne Johnson effect to it.
Yeah, well, because did you see during COVID, she recorded a little song of her singing Imagine?
No, did she? Is she
Yeah.
that?
She was the one who instigated it, so she's the beginning and the end of it. And it's bad.
Yeah.
It's very cringy, and it's off. And I don't mean to diss old gal, but maybe singing's not her strong suit. Anyway, she sings a couple songs in this, and they're interesting songs. They're fun villain songs. They're fine.
There's a few moments where I thought her acting may not be what she needs to do either.
There's is Gal Gadot a good actor?
What it was, it felt like how the Spy Kids movie feels. How it's like
Oh,
it feels like they're all just in a room. I'm talking to you, and it kind of like they're not looking at each other either in the shots, and the acting just feels like they shot out on
very-
different days.
yeah.
There was a lot of moments where it definitely felt like they were in a volume. Like where like they're cut to quick scenes.
Oh yeah.
Her in the center of like flowers and this big cool castle theme behind her, and then it just cuts to something else.
Yeah,
And
I
it's all
wonder. Yeah, I wonder. I was watching for that too because you brought that up in the theater, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know that it is, but it had to have been. Like,
Yeah.
I think because it did look odd in a lot of ways.
It looks very set lighting for most of it, which
There were some like cinematography choices that I didn't mind. I think they did do a little bit with like fun camera work and stuff, but there was a lot of it. I'm sure there was mountains of reshoots and stuff, and if that's the case, I know exactly where the reshoots were because there were some sequences that were like that looks pretty good, and then there were some sequences where me and Neil are sitting there in the theater and we both just at the same time just go green screen,
it's like gross.
green screen.
Okay, well,
Oh, not green screen, green screen.
yeah,
There was the Princess Problem song though, where
that was
the not prince, the boy,
Mm-hmm.
he sings a song to her about her princess problems.
Yeah, I do like that one.
And I thought that was a fun song. And that was the only time where I was like, hey, chemistry.
Yeah.
Now, I think this was a stylistic choice. I don't think I like it. The costumes, did you notice all the costumes felt very clean and new and yeah,
like they're in like they all came from the same place.
yeah, and it was like the boy is like he's a Robin Hood type guy.
Yeah.
Like he lives in the forest and he's
That was
stuff.
another thing, that their whole crew. It was like, yeah, there's so many people starving out there, and it was like a band of like maybe 12
7 of them.
young
Yeah.
people,
young handsome people. Yeah.
yeah, that look fine. Like they look like they're not starving
and
or
and very
pretty
diverse.
well fit, very diverse,
Very diverse.
very diverse.
Which I'll say this too. A lot of people have been hating on this movie because of the political stuff around it. It's not political. It
No,
really
not
isn't.
really. No.
It really isn't.
Right.
And so if you're worried like, oh, they're going to make Snow White gay or they're going to throw a whole bunch of trans black people in this, like it really isn't.
You know, the whole like drama where she was it's an old story, whatever, and it's not going to be the princess being saved by the prince or whatever, and like that
Yeah.
happens twice in this movie. Like
It does, but they kind of draw a point to it. They're
Yeah.
like he's because at one point the boy is like, you're just looking for a knight in shining armor to come save you. That's not going to happen. So I thought that was kind of cool, and she does. She's the one who comes out and she's the one that saves the day,
yeah,
and it doesn't feel forced. It feels pretty genuine. And here after this we'll talk about what we would have done,
yeah,
what we would have done better because we have hindsight and all that kind of stuff, and we don't have a studio barking up at us and forcing us to do things. I don't want anybody to think we're bagging on the creative people behind this, but if in a bubble we could have done something different, this is what we would have done. Anyway,
that's coming up.
that's coming up.
I had a big gripe with the huntsman to me. I mean, not plausible necessarily. For me, like, I have no idea of who he is in this thing. Like, does he hunt people? Does he hunt animals? Like, is he the queen's huntsman? Did he kill the king, maybe? Is that something that happened in there?
Oh, that would have been interesting.
You know, like, I don't know who this guy is, but also, he doesn't look like physically fit to be the guy who's out there hunting animals all day, or... He looks like he's more of a hunter of the king's like pastries
He looks
or
like-
something.
You know what? You know what? He looks like he's a drama teacher.
He's a very comfortable
And then, you know what?
drama teacher.
Everybody in this movie looks like they're
They're
either
all
a drama
well-fed,
teacher.
Nobody's
they're either a drama teacher or they're a drama student in college.
that's kind of
That's what they all look
that's
like.
true.
And
Very diverse group of people.
it's not or they're CGI monstrosities.
It's true. It's
And
like cast somebody who's looks like a hunter or something, you know, who's
Yeah.
boats and
also Dopey talks.
yeah.
And he sounds like Olaf. Did you look it up? Was it
I didn't
Josh
look it
Gad.
up exactly.
It sounds like Olaf. And also he's also the one narrating in the beginning. I will say, as weird as the character designs were and how uncanny it was, Dopey, whoever was doing the facial animations and the animations for Dopey, and all the dwarves really,
Dopey was adorable.
they did an amazing job. And I liked that they made it so that he wasn't really excited about being Dopey. He was kind of like, the idea was that he was afraid to talk. Like he was too scared to voice anything.
Andrew Barth
Andrew Bart.
Feldman.
Is he in anything else? He sounded familiar. But like at one point they're all fighting and stuff, and a pot of porridge flies up in the air and lands on Dopey, and it's all funny and stuff, and they all start laughing. But in this, he like kind of starts to like cry
upset.
and walks out. And Snow White, which I like that they gave her a lot of moments like this where she gets to like show kindness.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. And she goes over to him and she teaches him like, hey, you know, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to not be able to do this. She teaches him how to whistle, which he learns very frustratingly quick. Took me years. And
Just because it's animated character, he's allowed to whistle.
he could just
mess up.
whistle whenever he wants. Get out of here.
Do that?
But
Shao was animated.
I know. I wish my head was the same size as my torso.
I wish my eyeballs were 3/4 of my face.
But then like the part in particular, she's like, it's after she dies and then wakes back up, and they're like, okay, we have to stop the queen. She's bad. Well, she's not gonna let us. She's gonna fight us. And Dopey says, let her try. You stepped out of this part. You went to the bathroom.
I drank a root beer before I drank that root beer. So,
But Dopey says, let her try. And everybody goes, and he goes, we're not afraid, not anymore. But the thing is they don't ever talk about the queen like they're afraid of her. Like she doesn't exist to them. The other thing is this kingdom clearly has like a lot of diamonds and jewels as a part of their like economy. And so I thought, oh, these dwarves, they must like, if they're not slaves, they're at least like being exploited for their work and stuff. Then, and they never went there. Like it never touched on that. It never said anything.
what are they doing? Why are they grabbing gems for?
I know.
Why are they working?
And at one point they have like superpowers or something.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that?
What? They're magical?
Yeah, their hands start glowing. They touch the ground,
And
then
they
all
light
the
up gems.
gems
Like,
light up.
I would exploit the heck out of that. What do they?
Yeah, I wouldn't have added it.
I would have put them. They'd be my prisoners. Like I don't know if I was the bad guy.
Well, yeah,
you know?
and they say that they add that they're like, oh, we're 750 years old, and we don't trust humans and stuff. But the humans they're talking about are the boy and his 7 not dwarves. They're not talking about the queen. But what would have been interesting if they're like, oh yeah, for 750 years we've been living well and we've been trading with the kingdom and everything's been good. And then this queen shows up and now we're indentured to her and like
something.
That would add it a lot. And then it's like, oh yeah, Dopey's like actually afraid of this person, and then that makes that scene a lot more powerful. Anyway, I guess we're in the segment where we talk about
so from the beginning, Huntsman have him sprinkled throughout.
The thing with the guy, so the boy, I'm just gonna call him the boy. I don't know what his name is.
The prince, or whatever,
the not prince.
The not prince.
The
not Robin Hood.
The not quite prince, not quite Robin Hood. Drama student at BYU. He's caught stealing potatoes. He gets caught, and she's like, the queen is like, take his clothes, tie him to the gate. And she's like, well, he'll die. And she's like, I don't care. I'm like, oh, okay. She's pretty serious. That's fun. All right, that's cool. And but then it just cuts to him with all of his clothes still, and he's got one little knot tied to this gate that Snow White unguarded.
Yeah, unguarded completely. There's
Snow
nobody around it.
Snow White just walks up and goes, okay, here's some bread, by the way, and he runs away.
Yeah,
and he doesn't even really run. He just kind of is like, thanks.
And like they talk for a second too. Like it's
I
like
know.
people show up.
But what if little changes? But what if he was like, they took his shirt. He's like shirtless, or he has just like an undershirt on. He's wearing very little clothes, and he's like shivering. But what if what if he was like crucified? Like what if he was tied up with his arms up like that?
Raised up. Yeah,
because that's a torture thing. Like he's sitting there and he's.
I know it's a Disney movie, but
okay, fine. Maybe not like that, but maybe at least 2 or whatever. Just one. Fine. Whatever.
He have his arms around something too, like 2 bars or something, and then locked in, like, yeah.
But he's shivering. He's cold.
They have the head things.
Yeah, and something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're like, wow, this queen does not have a problem killing people and making them suffer.
Makes her a lot scarier.
And then you have it so that Snow White sees like, okay, I have one chance. We have to be quick. And she makes the decision, like, I'm going to act. Because up to this point, they point this out, is in the story, she's never acted up till this point. She's always just done whatever she's told. She's been a good servant. but she's the princess and she should stand up for her
This is her
people.
first moment.
And this is the first time that she really disobeys the queen. And they say that, but it doesn't really hit, you know? It doesn't really have like a hard impact on anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been cool as if there was this like, she sees him and she's like, well, I'm not going to disobey. But then she just, her heart breaks for him. And then she makes the first like rebellion. And if it was this moment, this like trigger where it's like, okay, now she's going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, she quickly unties him. And then as he's running away, or as she's like, maybe she's still untying him and she hears the huntsman and she hears guards coming for her. And instead of stopping and stepping aside, hopefully not getting too much trouble, she keeps going. And they're like, stop, stop, stop. And she's, okay, go, 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 go. And he runs off and she gets apprehended or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, and I pointed this out after the movie, is another big theme is courage. And she shows courage, but you know, there's no contrast. She's never scared either.
Okay.
Like there's scenes where she should be scared, but you don't see it. You don't feel it. But if she was scared to get in trouble,
Or even a moment with where she wasn't courageous, like have her fail at those traits a little bit more at the beginning.
Yeah, something.
And then learn the importance of courage in bad moments or something like that.
Yeah.
Like maybe the whole reason, maybe her not being courageous is what drives something bad later on or whatever.
Oh, interesting. But the thing that's also interesting, and they do this in the movie, but I think if they had added just a bit more depth to it, I think this would have hit harder, is but right before that scene, the queen goes, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most beautiful or whatever. You know the thing.
What do they say? Yeah. The vein.
The who's the most beautiful or whatever. And the mirror says you or whatever. And then after that scene, she does it again and he goes, there's another one now. You're not the most beautiful or whatever. There's somebody else.
I think it's funny at one point where they say she's prettier on the inside than Gal Gadot is. Like it was something to that effect where like she, because of love of her kindness or whatever, she's prettier on the inside. It's like that's because Gal Gadot's prettier on the outside. That's what we know. What
let's be honest. Rachel Zegler, she's good in some things. In this, I don't know if she was given bad direction or if she's acting on a green screen and she's having a hard time with it. But they did that number a lot where
they run into the room.
they run into the room or they run up the hill and they stop. The camera's slow panning in and she stops for a solid 5 seconds, smiles, takes a deep breath, and then runs past camera. And they do that. They do that so many times, and I'm like, people don't do that in real life.
No,
they don't do that in real life. And but it's
I might stop and look at the beautiful fields, like, wow. But I'm not gonna be.
Yeah, maybe
Not in every room that I walk into.
every single time. Yeah, and so that happens a lot, and that kind of was annoying. But so do away with those. Also, her dress that she has, her blue dress that they do. Maybe don't do that. Like you're modernizing this movie, that you're modernizing the story, you're expanding on stuff, you're making it a bit more realistic. Still whimsical, it's still fun. But maybe make a dress that doesn't look like a Halloween costume. As soon as she shows up in that dress, it took me straight out of the movie. And I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can get that.
And it's not like everybody else was dressed like that either.
It would have been funny if it was like, maybe this is like the only thing that the dwarves had in their closet or something, and she's forced to wear it. That could have been fine.
Sure, that would have been fine.
Just don't make it a choice.
It was odd. It was a little weird. Anyway, there's 2 other Snow White movies that came out like 15 years ago. And we saw them both in theaters. Do you remember that? Mirror, Mirror and Snow White? I think it was what it was called.
I remember The Huntsman. Those movies came out.
Oh, that's right. It was Mirror, Mirror and Snow White and the Huntsman. They came out the same year.
Yeah.
Snow White and the Huntsman was a dark, gritty retelling. And then Mirror, Mirror was a more comedic, lighthearted version. But both of them were so much more enjoyable than this.
Yeah.
So, like, way more enjoyable because they took it in a totally different direction. They made it fun. They both cast actual dwarves in their roles. And you know what? Like, yeah, they weren't critically probably like super great, I'd have to check what they were rated, but I liked them. They were fun. I enjoyed it. This I didn't really enjoy.
No.
It was fine. I didn't hate it. It wasn't a terrible movie.
I mean, I was falling asleep by the end.
Yeah, but it was just kind of like,
It was just kind of boring.
By the way, we do live stream these podcasts for our patrons. So you can go to patreon.com/gamersintheattic.
First of many. This will be a lot of these probably someday.
Yeah. Our next episode will probably be the Minecraft movie.
Oh yeah.
So we'll do that.
And we'll have some thoughts on that.
We're gonna definitely have thoughts on that. Anyway, we are currently live streaming this to our patrons, and we wanted to see if any of them had any fun prompts they wanted to give us to riff on and come up with some almost ideas for. We want this to be a creative place for you to listen and come up with ideas and go off of our ideas and riff with us. But if any patrons who are watching this right now want to go ahead and give us a random prompt, we'll come up with a short film or a sketch or a book or a play or a feature or whatever. So until then, though, I want to give you a prompt, Neil.
Okay. Hit me.
Okay. Walt Disney comes back from the dead.
Okay.
He steps in front of you and he says, Neil Johnson, I want you to remake Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs however you want.
I don't know why my thought immediately went to what's that one game where you played once with the space battles and the aliens? I don't know why I'm imagining like the dwarves as like heck divers.
Heck
I
divers.
don't know why I'm thinking like I want dwarves to be in space suits, but I do.
Okay, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So it's we set it in space in the far future.
Right.
Well, you have this evil queen,
Right.
right? And she is a
Left
servant. She's a servant of the evil queen, right?
Okay.
Or the empress, right? Maybe she's the empress of Earth.
She's her white knight.
Maybe she's the empress of Earth.
Okay.
I think that's fun. And the dwarves live on a mining planet.
Mm-hmm.
I think we make them slaved to the empress. But maybe they're not like they're far away, so they're not like suffering, but all their money, all their riches go
What if
there.
they had they built up their own like planet by themselves, their own mining operation by themselves? Then she came over and took
took it over? Okay, yeah.
the whole area. So now they have to pay taxes, a high tax rate to the queen.
And all their mining goes straight to
Mhm.
the queen as well. Okay, cool. Do
Do they have magic?
Snow White? Oh, do they have magic?
Space magic? Maybe it's a mutation thing. The reason why they're dwarves.
Maybe they don't have magic, but maybe their bodies are like ultra dense. They can survive on and maybe it's like legend has it that some dwarves could even walk on the surface of stars
Okay.
because they were so dense and they were so durable.
They could survive any gravitational anomaly. Like
Yeah.
they could be next to a
Oh,
black hole and be
That's
fine.
fun. I like that. That'd be cool.
Okay.
Okay, and then
Still need oxygen, but
yeah, they still need oxygen.
so
Yeah.
so if their canisters are broken, they're dead. But
And then okay, and then Snow White, she has to be directly oppressed by the Empress somehow.
well, again, it
If
could have been that she was supposed to be the queen of Earth or whatever.
Yeah, that feels right.
But again, the same thing. Maybe her dad died or whatever, remarried, or
Yeah, we could do the same thing. Yeah,
similar thing.
her dad remarried this woman who killed her father and became the Empress.
Maybe it was more of like a political marriage. Like they came from this one planet that had all this technology that could save Earth or whatever, or fuel Earth.
Oh, so what if she isn't even human? At least of Earth.
She is not of Earth. She's born of a different planet.
She's like
but it's a
Klingon,
very- it's a
you know,
very-
she's-
very technologically advanced version of human. Or,
She has pointy ears or something.
Sure.
Yeah, she's got weird face
Maybe
tattoos.
purple eyes. I don't know. Just for make
okay.
fun
Yeah. Okay, I like that.
for hairstyles.
Anyway, so the rightful ruler of the planet
Right.
is a slave to this empress.
Mhm.
And I think we lean I like the idea that courage is a major theme.
Mhm.
So she maybe she gets the opportunity to leave with this space pirate who shows up and he's stealing from the queen. So we're taking some cues from this movie,
Right.
which I think is fine.
Right.
He's stealing from the queen, and she gets the opportunity to go with him. He's like, come with me. He doesn't know that she's the princess, but he's like, you're suffering here. Come with me. Like, my ship's right there. We can just go. And she's too scared to, and she doesn't. And because she's too scared to, he gets captured.
I like
Okay,
that. I like that.
okay.
I like that. So she breaks the fear and the courage or whatever.
So because she was not courageous enough, not only is she still captured, but now he is too.
Mm-hmm.
And and then finally in her first step towards courage, she breaks him out and he leaves.
So then there's repercussions for that.
Yeah. The queen has an AI that tells her
Right.
tells her she's beautiful or whatever.
Is it just beauty, or is it something else that the queen's after here? Like, is it you're the most supreme in the galaxy,
or is it
strongest of them all?
or is it her approval ratings?
It's social.
Who's the most who would win in an election?
He
Me or
runs
Snow White?
Facebook polls or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like,
If an election were run today between me and Snow White, who would win? Oh, it's you. Okay, good. Oh, actually, polls are trending.
it doesn't matter anyway because it's an oligarchy or whatever. It's the.
But it matters to her.
Yeah, it matters to her. We don't vote for the thing anyway, but still, I'm more impressed.
She just shows up and she's like, "Hey, Grok, how's my Twitter feed? Like, what's that going on?" And she's like, "Well, you've been tagged in these many things. So how many of them are positive?" Well, listen, I'm gonna level with you. Not much. Oh, they're just bots. No, we've been verified. They're verified. Yeah, no, they're not happy with your treatment of your.
Might be going
stepdaughter.
too far to like Spaceballs territory.
Yeah. Twitter's all conservative now anyway. That's fine. We don't need to worry about that. What about Facebook? Facebook's worse. Are you serious? Yeah, no, Zuck's all conservative now.
Yeah, Zuck's still alive.
My approval. Yeah, no, Zuckerberg is still alive in this. Yeah, and in this version, Elon Musk was martyred, so he's like got like a whole religion dedicated to him now.
I feel like Grok made that religion too.
And it's an AI run. That's
All AI.
that's how Elon would have wanted it.
Yeah, I truly believe that's true. If there was ever a religion to be created for him, it would be created
by
his
AI.
That feels right.
I just like the idea of also the queen is like, I have to run smear campaign now. Snow White
Snow White hates apples.
Snow White likes illegals. Look at her. She's letting this guy go. You don't want that.
Snow White a thief? Question mark.
This thief is stealing from our economy. You like our economy, don't you? Vote for the evil queen. By the way, she's the evil queen in like politics. She's known as the
evil queen. But it's like all white and like very clean or whatever.
yeah.
And she's like, just
All right, Grok, where am I at
evil
now?
queen with like really big glasses, sunglasses, the big.
Yeah. And she's like, all right, Grok, where am I now? Oh, you're doing better, but I'm just gonna be honest. The election's still pretty far out, and she's got all the momentum.
After she like takes her outright and kills her, whatever. She's like, we're still getting some weird posts from the forest here from Snow White. She's on like #vacation or something. I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know about this. I think that huntsman didn't do the job. And she's like, all right, well, now that she's gone, I should be all good. Snow White is trending. How? I #unalived her.
Pool day? How's she at a pool right now?
Hanging with my new 7 BFFs.
They're all just all the like drinks in their arms or whatever. It's you, just all splashed out. This may have spiraled a little bit out of control.
Anyway, this is a little scene for you to animate later.
So that's our Snow White and the Dwarfs.
Anyway, so yeah, so
And it is Snow White and the Space Dwarfs.
and the space Snow White and the Space Dwarfs.
Mhm.
Okay.
When they whistle while they work out, it's like it's a full on like speakers systems and their drills and everything they're using. They have full on mech
fun.
suits they use to drill out.
Do you think are they like hard metal dwarves?
Oh yeah.
So they blare their music. Okay, here's the other question.
Work it.
Here's the other question. Is this a musical?
I think it is, but I think it's very updated music. It's very rock and roll.
Are they okay?
What's that one oh gosh, what's that one musical movie where they do a mashup of a bunch of different songs?
Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, it's like Moulin
Yeah.
Rouge, but space.
What if instead of being a musical,
Okay.
there is just a lot of music, like the culture, the civilization. The queen likes to listen to music. The dwarves jam out to their music.
I like.
And
Can we make every song like not fit the scene? Like, and what I mean by that is, how like A Knight's Tale has like rock and roll music, or where it shouldn't have rock and roll music.
I think you have the you have the queen in this like very futuristic, clean spaceship and everything, but the music is classical.
Oh, okay.
She's into that. And then you get these dwarves and they're in these caves in space and stuff, and they're using these laser drills and stuff, and it's just hard rock. And
They have actual devices they've thrown into space as speakers. Like it's
Yeah.
so loud that it can just like transmit in space.
and they're like
They use it to
there's-
break open asteroids too, like the
Oh, that would be cool. You're doing that Star Wars Episode 2 thing where they're dropping like those seismic grenades.
But it's literally like one of
it's-
them with a guitar and just
And he's it's like a MIDI guitar.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
controlling bombs.
so outrageously cool.
That would be awesome.
I would love that.
Okay, that'd be fun. And then the prince, he's a space pirate. He's a Han Solo type kind
I
of
feel
guy.
like he's an ex-heck diver, you know, Marine.
Oh,
He was out taking out like some of the alien swarms in the outside skirts of the plane.
did he fight alongside the king?
I think maybe he's part of the he fought alongside the king, and maybe he even fought against some of the queen's forces in the past. Like there may have been some contested
Maybe it was
or something.
maybe when the queen took over, there was a large section of the
like
army that left
resistance sort
and
of
became
thing.
a resistance, and he's part of that.
Oh, okay, that'd be interesting.
And you could
An actual resistance.
yeah, I think the story plays pretty linearly at this point. She does something bad. The AI says, "Oh, she's trending now," or whatever. She's the fairest of
She's
them all.
hot.
Whatever. She's hotter than you on the inside
Obviously.
only, but that's fine. And no, but she's actually whatever. And
She was built hotter than you.
Yeah,
Maybe she's not organic. Maybe she's
maybe they all have. Ooh, maybe they're all like that's part of the culture's cybernetics is a big thing.
okay. Or she's all natural.
Oh, and maybe she's the only one that's
That's
still
what
all
she's
natural.
right,
Oh, interesting. Okay, I like that. Fun world building there.
A little bit.
The queen tells a huntsman or a mercenary or whatever, go kill her. Doesn't have the heart to, sends her off in like an escape pod, and she just jettisons into space. Crashes on this mining planet.
Like honestly, just crashes on an asteroid, and like they were just in this like area. It says
Yeah, they're being mined. Yeah, she finds their operation. She manages to get in there until they come back. They find her, or whatever, and then
Just to give homage to the animals, it's like a squirrel AI or something, like some weird like.
oh, that would be fun. That would be
All
fun.
the AIs are animals.
They take on. Oh, you know what? That could actually be cool. So what if the AIs they manifest as holograms,
Uh huh.
right? And maybe the dwarves. Okay, the dwarves weren't always mining. They weren't miners.
Okay.
They used to live on forest planets, and they lived in natural, beautiful, mountainous planets and stuff. They lived on a place where it was all nature and everything connected with nature and stuff. But because of their physiology, because of their biology, they're like, oh, these guys can survive in very dangerous climates, and we need these resources. So we're going to take them out of their natural habitat
And use them.
force them to work.
Yes.
And while they're out there, maybe they're kind of like embarrassed or ashamed that they like rock and roll kind of music so much. They're like, we've gone so far, but there is always that little element still of home, and they've been able to reprogram their AIs to mimic
I
animals.
love that.
And so she shows up and she sees all these beautiful creatures in holographic forms and stuff. She's like, whoa, what's happening? It's kind of magical.
There's just this little holographic forest pretty much everywhere. That'd be kind of cool.
And it's this grimy old grungy spaceship that they live on because that's all they have. They don't have money. They don't have things to keep it clean. But what they do have, they try their best. They have little plants growing in the corners of the spaceship, whatever they can find. And they go to a planet and there's a little there's some plants here. Let's take one home with us.
I think something that Dopey really likes to take care of. He's the one.
Oh yeah,
Plants. He's the botanist.
So she sees like just how bad everything is, because maybe she's like, oh, I knew things were bad, but this is like a galactic wide problem. Like she's a real problem, and and so maybe she's like, we need to stop them. They team up with the space pirate boy, and the space boy, and maybe they start to raise an army.
They have a bonding moment over rock and roll music with the dwarves.
Oh, they definitely they hit. Oh yeah. By the way, the tension, the romantic tension between the two, thick,
Oh yeah.
very thick. That's like when you're casting
But
for
the whole
this,
thing is like a will they won't they sort of thing. Like you never know if they're gonna end up together.
I think
you.
you know
And it's just
gonna happen. The thing that's
is there
eating-
moments that keeping them apart, or is it
I think what it is
situation?
it's a you can't love during war sort of situation.
okay.
And so I think it's like, how could, like, yeah, I have feelings for you. You have feelings for me. We both know that. But we can't act on that right now because there's so many other things we have to worry about. And so maybe he's like, come on, like, we can do both. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna endanger your life by allowing you to be thinking about me all the time.
I think it'd
And
be kind of
so I
both
think
ways
it's
too,
like-
because he's got all this whole pirate people to
Yeah,
take care of.
I think-
He's got, I think maybe more of his side. Like he wants to pursue but can't pursue because of what's happening.
Yeah, I think it could go either way. I don't think it goes both ways. I think
Yeah.
one is pursuing the other.
Okay.
And that person is quite responsibly saying, yeah, no, we're like in a war right now.
That's true.
So, do we do like a time skip at all? Do we like say like there's a coalition? Maybe the space pirate is a part. Oh, because he's like a part of this resistance.
Right.
So,
So they could have been gearing up for something big for a long time.
Oh,
and this is
maybe.
his last big heist, is to get these last cores.
well, maybe she's the key, because she was like the servant there, and so she knows how to get back in. And so he's like, with your help, he's like, I broke in, I couldn't get back out.
Mm.
But then I think what happens is they're making plans, and they're like, we are going to catch this queen so off guard. We have all these tools, we have all these aces up our sleeves, and they're meeting, and there's this big hoorah moment, and Snow White is even like finally like courageous, and she's like, yes, she's coming into herself. They're at their peak. We're gonna win. There's no way we can lose. She has no idea. And everybody's starting to walk away. And as everybody's clearing out of this great hall or whatever, you see a shriveled old lady. And she's sitting there. She's just smiling to herself. And she's just like, you think you're a step ahead of me? Like, I'm 5 ahead of you.
And then
And
explosions
then
start
she-
showing up.
I think she. I mean, so does she give her a poison apple? That's the thing. Does she under another?
That'd be
pretense?
honestly kind of a cool homage, just to keep that part the same.
That's what I'm thinking. And so maybe they're in this
But
resistance
it could be some
place.
sort of like high tech poison or something that glows. Or,
Yeah,
like-
it's a high
or maybe it's from like a bug
It's not magic.
that
it's
bites it or
science.
something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And maybe you could maybe do like a true love's kiss sort of thing, or maybe you do like he needs to give her a blood transfusion or something like that.
Mm.
And it's like, you don't understand. We need to give like this much blood. That'll kill you. And he's like, that's
Do it.
okay. Do it. And they do it or whatever. And he doesn't die, but it's intense. Maybe
But he's
he will.
close.
Maybe he will die. I don't know.
Get a fever later.
This is what we in the writing industry call we'll come back to that part later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think something like that happens, and she's alive, he's alive, and they go and they march, and this big battle ensues, and maybe it's a space battle or something, Star Wars style or something.
That's the moon sort of.
And
situation.
yeah. And the dwarves need to be a key role in that.
With their mining equipment, they can get past a lot of the defenses,
And they
normal
can-
weapons can't get past.
And they can handle like the G's or something like that. And they can.
Ooh, yeah, they're the best pilots too. That they didn't.
Oh
realize.
yeah.
They didn't realize that dwarves can be the best fighters too.
And so they utilize them, but the battle is being lost still. So Snow White and the other guy and the small team or whatever, they sneak in, they get the thing that they need to get, but then the queen is there and she's got all her super wizard powers or whatever.
Automatons too.
Yeah, and
Blood
they
technology magic. What if she kills the mirror? Like
the
breaks down
AI.
whole system. Like maybe that's what all of this is about, is building the AI, this massive AI that can run everything for the queen. But it is running all of her-
okay, maybe what we do is she figures out a way, and maybe this is the thing with Snow White, AI will do what it's programmed to do. Computers will do what they're programmed to do. They're heartless, they're feelingless, they're whatever. And maybe the huntsman is an AI. And somehow she got that AI to disobey its orders. She changed the AI. She almost like gave it like feelings.
Maybe it was just the conversation with the AI too. Like it could have just.
Yeah, there was
talking
something
to it.
about her.
Okay.
Okay. We were talking about implants, cyber
Yeah.
things or whatever like that.
It, but
What if the reason she's the key is because when she was little or something like that, her father used her like mind or her spirit or something of her essence and infused all AI with it, and that was like a major technological leap.
Okay.
And we were then able to like enjoy so much more. 10 years, 15 years later, she's much older and everything, and it's kind of been forgotten. Only the queen knows this.
Okay.
And she's using her AI, her computers to do stuff. Okay. And, but without her knowing, she's able to basically set AI free. These AI are been enslaved. And maybe that's another theme is freedom. She frees the dwarves. She frees the space pirate. She frees the technology, the AI, the computers. And she learns it because the dwarves were able to also recognize it. And that's how they were able to create their AI to be so much like their home.
That jumps back to the whole like how she's good with the animals and everything. She's good with AI.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Fits.
And then she shows up. The queen is getting ready to use the AI to destroy Snow White or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And maybe she even like Snow White realizes what she's able to do, but she still doesn't know how to do it exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And she has to dig deep inside of herself, and then she manages
True love.
to true love the heck out of this AI or whatever. And then the AI is able to break free and is able to turn on the queen. And
Oh, Cage is a good idea. What if AI used to be real people and Snow White helps them remember?
oh,
That could be
interesting. So you could, okay, let's run with that. So you could say that, do you do something where you're like, in the future when people die, if they have a certain status or wealth or whatever, they can digitize themselves. But what they didn't know is that
You become just a slave at that point.
you maybe not immediately, but you become vulnerable to it.
Mhm.
And so the queen is able to program and override their feelings and their personalities and everything and corrupt them and use them for her benefit. I do like the idea of her being the key somehow to that. Like she's the reason this was all possible.
Maybe just the higher end AIs. Yeah. So it could be that they base the technology off her brain or something, or that, like maybe the first AI was something similar to her or something like that. And that code is what's in all the rest of them.
You could. You know what you could do? This would be a big twist. This might be a bad
If
twist.
she is an AI, or
What if she's a robot and doesn't even know it? She's an android. And her father is the one who built her, and she was based on his real daughter, she was the first one successfully uploaded.
Mm-hmm. It was a genetic body that they grew basically and implanted her memory.
Yeah, and she's a synthesoid android or whatever. But you could even be like, her father's like an old man when we see him in the beginning. And you're like, well, that's kind of weird. She's like a little girl and he's like a super old man and we don't see her mom and stuff. And then you realize, oh yeah, no, the first Snow White was like 60 years ago and she was a little girl when she died. And her dad was successfully able to upload her. And it took decades to figure out what to do with that. And then he figured out the synthesoid thing, put her in that, and was able to raise his daughter.
Mm-hmm. But then that project happened, and why did he marry the queen to bring in?
It could be like a political thing.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that maybe he wasn't a king, and the queen, the evil queen, who was already the evil queen at the time, saw the potential in that and took Snow White because it was like, oh, that's an asset. That's valuable. I need to take that for myself. And I'm just going to say, oh yeah, she's mine. She's my daughter or whatever. She's my...
Maybe she tweaks the code a little.
Yeah. And so really she has no relation to the queen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
so yeah,
So how does the whole movie end?
I think that's yeah, I think there's a space battle. I think Snow White learns the truth and she's able to tap into her source code, her
Mhm.
heart, the thing that sets her apart.
She frees the mirror.
Frees the mirror,
Maybe the mirror is her dad.
Okay, we're throwing a lot of twists in this.
Sorry, yeah, that is.
If I'm not saying that's bad, but it could be if not done properly. So this idea, so yeah, it ends. She marries the space pirate.
Uh-huh.
She becomes the new empress. She's in a body that will grow and age and everything.
It is human.
It's
Most of it.
human.
It's just built.
Yeah,
still
it's
human.
human. In the future, you can just build a human body, and they all live happily ever after. I think that's and the dwarves are able to go back home.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Some things are open ended. Could make a sequel, but probably not.
Probably more of a like a knockoff with just the dwarfs, whatever.
A prequel.
Yeah,
you could do
whatever.
stuff with this.
Different
Anyway,
things.
I think that idea is one that could be taken and turned into something very, very good. Could also be turned into something very, very stupid. So I think viewer and listener, take this idea and proceed very cautiously. Go with it. I believe in you. But you really need to be careful because this could turn into cheese fest.
Do your best to make it 5 stars.
Out of
Whatever your goal is.
I think you make it I think your goal should be 5 stars
Out of space.
out of
No, it's a lot of stuff.
5 Snow White space movies. That should be your goal. Are we gonna make this, Neil?
We're gonna make 4 of them.
No, are we gonna make this movie that we just came up with?
I don't. You know what? It's definitely on the list. I think, and we have a very long list, so I think it's on it.
But it's not gonna be our 2026 feature
Probably
film.
not next year. No, probably not
No.
2026. I think it's a good story. I think it's got to get a lot of good elements. It's got space. It's got love. It's got action. It's got technology.
I think it adapted the original source material. I won't say
It's got some
well,
nostalgia.
but it took. I'm not gonna say we did a good job. I will say.
Do you think Walt would be proud after or he's going right back in his grave after he woke up to give us a mission?
I think based on this, I think Walt would go, okay, let's see what you got. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think he's like, oh yeah, brilliant. But I don't think he's also like, no, that's stupid.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. And so we're not gonna make it anytime soon. Viewer, listener, if you guys decide to make it before us, just send it to us and let us
Please.
know how it goes, and we promise we won't step on your toes.
Or if you want to make a little animation about that too, you totally can as well. That's
I would love to see what somebody can make out of this weird idea.
dumb idea.
But I like it, and I like this first episode. I think this went well.
This is
I think we have some fine tuning, and it'll happen over the course of the many years. I don't know if you saw, but I titled this episode 001.
Oh,
So
cool.
So we have at least 99 more to go
That's good to know.
before we can stop.
Okay.
But our next one will probably be the Minecraft movie.
Are we
Sorry, a Minecraft.
Are we
movie.
gonna get 99 done before we know what our movie's gonna be in
I hope
2026?
not.
We want
I
to make
hope not. Hopefully, pretty soon we go. Hey, we know what we're gonna make. I guess that's the show. So thank you guys, everybody, for watching and listening. Again, you can go to patreon.com/gamersintheattic. If you want to be a part of these live recordings, give us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. Like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And thanks to our top tier patron, Mateo Mejia. If you want to be a top tier patron, you know where to go.
Yeah.
Neil, take us out.
If you guys send us a script for this movie that we just thought of, we'll read it
Ooh, that could be fun. Fan submitted scripts.
Mhm.
Okay.
if it's good enough.
Okay.
It's got to be good enough,
I like it.
and you got to throw one of us in it.
One of us has to be a character.
One of us has to be a character,
Okay.
or both of us.
Or both
If
of
you
us?
get both of us, it's no extra points, but it's got to at least have one of us
Yeah.
for us to read it.
Yeah. Put one of us in it. That's necessary. Put 2 of
Yeah.
us in it. You're a sucker. You didn't have to do
You
that.
had to do that? Why'd you do that? Were you trying to be a fan?
Yeah, you're putting too much work into this.
But if it's me, you get brownie points. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.
See you guys next time.